Dang, another totally awesome Silksong character reveal, and yet another super fun riddle by Leth. I've stared at this GIF for hours on end. In this riddle, we got so much brand new content revealed to us, and the riddle also wasn't that difficult, which made it even more fun. We learned about the new fleece system a bit more, which will replace Hollow Knight's grubs. And we saw this amazing meme of Relia, Mossbag, and Rusty as the caravan. We also got to see an area which was later in the game than anything we had come across to this point. By now, we had only really seen the Forest of Bones, and in the GIFs, we didn't have any really cool skills. But this riddle was a gold mine. We quickly spotted two very important things, the first being similar to a soul vessel. In Hornet's silk meter, we saw a little bar and then extra space, meaning that we have a larger silk spool, which shouldn't really surprise anyone, but it is a nice bit of confirmation. But there's something else strange about this GIF. Do you see it? This strange mask on the first mask in Hornet's health bar. And we've never seen anything like this before. And the only weird looking masks we saw in the original game were Lifeblood masks, Hiveblood masks, and then the Steel Soul masks. And that makes us ask the question, what is this brand new mask that we see in the caravan GIF? This thing is pretty weird, and we haven't ever seen anything like it in the game. Now, the first thing people jump to conclusions about revolving this mask is that it's likely related to one of the crests or the new charm system that we'll get in Silksong. Now, for a brief rundown of that system. Basically, Hornet will be able to equip certain crests that she earns throughout the game, and these crests will have a certain amount of slots for each of the 3 tool types. For more info on the new tools, watch Stizzle's video on it. It's really good and it goes into a lot of depth about all of the new fancy charms. If you want a briefer summary, which is just as good, watch Mythreel's video on tools. Now, some of these crests will allow, say, 3 red tools, 1 blue tool, and a yellow tool, while another one might allow 2 of each of these. So these crests are very playstyle specific things. And all of these tools throughout the 3 categories have different purposes. For example, red might be mainly offensive and aggressive tools. So now that we have the tool system out of the way, let's go over some of the theories that people have revolving what this strange mask might be. The first thing I've heard is that this mask is similar to the cheat death mutation in the game Dead Cells. Just for a quick summary of mutations in Dead Cells. Basically, after the first 3 biomes in the game, you have a chance to speak to an NPC who gives you mutations which benefit your playstyle. These can range from a melee mutation, where you gain an extra 243 damage per second for 8 seconds after killing an enemy, to a mutation that doubles the amount of ammo that you can shoot from your bow. But this mutation, Igadar Oris Leox, or Cheat Death, allows you to, well, cheat death. When you're hit and you should die, Igadar Oris Leox gives you about 10% of your health back, and it gives you a fighting chance to survive the rest of the level until you can fill up your heal flask again. I have heard 2 separate schools of thought about this one theory though. The first follows Igadar Oris Leox pretty well, as people say that once you lose your final mask, you gain back an extra mask or 2 in HP. This would make a lot of sense, and it would allow Hornet to get back into the fight very quickly, as she probably had some soul already, and with these masks you could gain a lot more soul, and quickly you could bind and be back at 5 masks. Another thing I heard was that this mask is like a super strong mask, which could take multiple hits before it eventually broke. But after it broke, you would die, and it'd be broken. And they think it's similar to Baldur's Shell in the original game. I think this theory could work, but I also might tweak it a bit. I think that this might be a shield that decreases melee damage, as the mask looks like more of a physical hand-to-hand combat styled bug mask like Galleon, and not a magic user. This could make all physical attacks do 50% less damage or something, or give soul back when hit. These would all make a lot of sense due to Hornet's playstyle in the game. The next thing I've heard about this strange mask is the similarities that it has to the charm Fury of the Fallen, and that maybe Silksong fixed some of the annoying parts of Fury of the Fallen from the first game. This Galleon/Ant mask is the last mask remaining in the health bar, which would make lots of sense since Fury of the Fallen works only when you have one mask left. Also, with this mask looking so much different from all of the others, it would be very clear when you only had one mask left. And this charm would be much more helpful in Silksong than it was in Hollow Knight, because you'll be low on masks a lot because of the more fast-paced and decisive healing system, as it takes a lot of soul, and it heals 3 masks at a time, quickly changing the courses of battle. Another thing that it could possibly be is the cut Zote charm from Hollow Knight. This was an idea by William that would make the knight die in one hit, so it's kind of like a massively souped up version of Overcharming. This Zote charm would also undoubtedly hold a lot of benefits so that it had value other than just making the game insanely difficult. This would make some sense in Silksong, as William would probably still remember this idea and want to put it in one of the games they make. And it is only on the last mask in the health bar, which in that scenario would be the only mask that mattered. Those are all of the finished ideas I have, but now for a couple quick theories that I don't have any evidence for. First off, I've heard people say that it could be exactly Baldur's Shell from the original game. Secondly, it could be a curse, or something of some kind that was received from an NPC or a boss earlier in the game, and you need to get an antidote for it, and until then it harms you in some way. Anyways, this new Galleon mask is quite interesting, and I'm excited for Silksong to learn what this thing really is. Please subscribe to stay up to date for more Hollow Knight content. I also now have a Patreon page for anyone who is interested, and the rewards for backing are quite cool. Thank you guys, have a nice day.